panoramic 34-bar high over Liverpool, England, it's time for the Anglo-American edition of Spoiler Country, starring your incredible hosts, John and Kenric, handing out the usual amazing speedball cocktail of comics, music, movies and popular culture. Without further ado, people of Earth, it's time for Spoiler Country.
Join the cult of the Spoilerverse. You welcome back to Spoiler Country. I'm Kenric. That is Mr. Horsley. And today on the show, well, it's Andrew Sumner. Yeah. And it's just an amazing conversation in the exclusive Arctic Club of Seattle, Washington.
That place is so cool, man.
It is amazing. It really is. It just feels like, for some reason, when I walk into the Arctic Club, it feels like I'm walking into a Disney fairy tale.
Right? I mean, it feels so old-timey. I mean, it feels like an old bar you would walk into.
Yeah.
I mean, it's so cool. And there's an 8-foot polar bear or a 9-foot polar bear statue in there, and it's just classy.
That's a fake polar bear, though.
No, I know it's fake,
right?
But they're so cool.
Yeah. No, I'm asking you. That's a fake polar bear, right?
Oh, yeah, no, it is. Sorry. Yeah,
You're like, yeah, I know it is, jerk. I'm like, no, I'm asking you.
Sorry. Yes, it is a fake polar bear. Yes.
That's funny.
Yes. Yeah, it's cool, though.
Yeah. So we got to sit with Andrew, and we did a really long rap session.
So long.
Yeah. And so this is the last one of this conversation, right?
Yeah, and this one we talk about Guy Ritchie's The Gentleman. We talk about Brexit and politics. We talk about the wealth gap in the world. I mean, it goes all over the place, but it's all
always
related.
does, Andrew.
Yeah, but if you listen to it, it all comes back and is related to the same conversation, which starts off with Guy Ritchie's The Gentleman.
Yeah,
and this was a really cool one because we go some deep places we don't normally go on our show, but it's all relevant.
There you go. Well, let's sit back and listen to Andrew. So, have you watched The Gentleman yet from Guy Ritchie?
Yes, yeah,
so,
right.
I haven't seen it yet.
Yeah.
But from the commercials, I'm excited to watch it because it reminds me of Lock, Stock, and Two Smoking Barrels.
Right on.
It
Yeah.
reminds me of Layer Cake.
Yeah.
It reminds me of those
Snatch. Yeah.
those movies that he made, prior. Those, I don't know, for lack of a better term, those Ocean's 11 style type of heist type of movies.
Bled through a kind of uniquely English filter.
Oh my God, his writing is so good.
And that's exactly what it is. I mean, I think it's it's pure, unalloyed Guy Ritchie doing what he does best, which is, again, this kind of alternate universe version of the way contemporary Britain is.
Yeah.
It's much more like actual Britain than, say, Downton Abbey is.
Right.
Which is essentially... one of the things that frustrates me about Downton Abbey being so popular still is that it's kind of like a reinvention of what contemporary Britain, contemporary England really is. It's just not like that anymore. Right. Whereas Guy Ritchie's world is kind of multiracial, like multi-religious. There's all different types. It's very urban. It's got the countrified thing going on, and it's kind of a made-up world as well.
Yeah.
But I find them, very amusing and entertaining. And I mean, when Lock, Stock, and Two Smoking Barrels came out, I took my dad to see that. My dad's still with us right now. He's in his late 80s. And I took him to see Lock, Stock. And I almost had to carry my dad out the cinema. He was laughing that much. Because something that's always really amused my father is extreme violence applied in a very humorous manner.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And high levels of profanity. So, both of those things jammed together, you've got a Guy Ritchie movie, right?
Right.
It's so great.
Yeah, it's so good.
Sting is so good in that movie.
But I think, it's great in that film.
He grabbed a black rubber cock.
Yeah.
I lost it.
Yeah. Oh, it's so great. And I don't know if you recall, but there's a scene where there are two hitmen, dopey rubbish hitmen who come from Liverpool.
Yeah.
And they fuck up everything they touch.
Yeah.
And one of them's got a
take
big
the guns,
kind of,
and they didn't take the guns,
white dude afro, and he gets the middle of it shot through by a shotgun or whatnot.
Right.
Yeah.
God.
No, it's
so good.
It's such a good film, and I think The Gentleman is very much in that vein. And what it's really got is a bunch of great performances.
Yeah.
So there's a framing device which really involves Hugh Grant massively playing against type. And Charlie Hunnam, who's kind of the second in command of the lead gangster.
Right.
But the interesting thing about the character Hugh Grant is playing is Hugh Grant has had a lot of battles in the UK with the media, with the press. So here's the quick 101 about the press in the UK.
Yeah.
We have some of the worst newspapers in the world, right? So I think here in the US, you've got a particularly unique, let's call it a problem. Other people describe it in another way, which is that you have a lot of TV media which is heavily biased.
Right.
So the controls upon fair and balanced broadcasting were lifted in the Reagan era, which gave birth to like Sky News and all that kind of stuff. Right?
Fox News.
Fox News, yeah. Fox News, that's right. So Fox News, so you've got Fox News, so it's all incredibly biased and it perpetuates all this like right-wing nonsense, right? In the UK, although some people would disagree with me, we still have fair and balanced TV reporting and we've got fair and balanced rules in force. But your newspapers, like the New York Times, the Wall Street Journal, are well known for their high standard of journalistic integrity.
Right.
To the point that, the commander-in-chief hates them, right? That's why Trump hates them, yeah? But, they really try to get it right. We have a reversal of that because we've got the BBC and we've got ITV News, Channel 4 News, who try and report in as fair and balanced a way as possible on television.
Right.
And we don't have Fox News. We don't have any of that deranged stuff, with a heavy agenda one way or the other. But what we do have is our newspapers are, with one or two exceptions, essentially owned by 5 multi-billionaires who are non-doms. They don't live in the UK. They might be English, but they don't live in the UK.
Right.
And they control in print this very, very right-wing message. Yeah.
Oh, wow, interesting.
Okay, so basically,
How Brexit happened?
It is 100% how it happened. That's exactly right. The short version of, a lot of people would disagree with me, of course, but short version of why did Brexit happen? Because coming out of the European Union guarantees tax breaks for not the 1%, the 0.001%.
Right.
So the super rich get even super richer.
Because that's
in
awesome.
In the UK, we have the biggest divide between regular people and the ultra rich of any nation in the world.
Really?
Just got to look at the statistics.
Wow.
Yeah,
That's nuts.
Yeah, London, which is my home and I love, but the amount of like people with heavy money in London who own multiple properties and live in virtually none of them, it's crazy.
Oh, we're like Johnny and I are both middle class.
Yeah.
Right? We make decent money in the jobs that we do, but this area is quickly becoming out of the price range,
Yeah,
even
of course,
for
because you've got all
middle
the
class or
Bezos
upper
of it
middle
all.
class.
Yeah, right.
It's ridiculous.
Yeah, it's the same story.
And
in
then
London.
you don't get those tax brackets.
Yeah.
But because then you have people like Bill Gates in the area and Steve Ballmer. Ballmer, and I was thinking of Paul Allen, but and Jeff Bezos. Jeff Bezos and Bill Gates live on the exact same street, Evergreen Parkway in Medina.
Yeah.
One street has,
Two richest guys in the world.
two richest guys in the world.
I mean, the
And
thing is,
the top two.
I personally think that being a billionaire is immoral. I understand how.
How much money do you need?
Yeah, this
agree
is
there.
exactly the point. I mean, it's one thing, kind of like being self-made and being comfortable. Yeah, but you don't need to be taking a shit on a gold toilet. You don't need to be flying around the world in a fucking private jet. And, the world, according to me, is that you have billions in the bank that let's face it, you've earned through sheer luck, not through fucking hard work. Because, of course, Bezos has worked hard. Of course he has.
Yeah.
But so is everybody else. He's just got lucky as well.
Yeah,
and he's just happened to have said, he couldn't have known he was going to be as rich as he is. But why isn't he giving that fucking money away? Because you don't need billions.
You can't spend it.
you
You can't
don't
spend that
need
much
it.
fucking money.
You can't. And the truth is, you live in a nation where there's phenomenally wealthy people, but there's people starving to death.
Yep.
We live in a world where there's whole countries that are starving to death.
Yep. It's crazy.
The reality is we shouldn't have private citizens jetting around the world, while on the other side of the world, there's young people having to walk 11 miles a day just to get enough water for the family to have to be able to survive.
Yep.
That's fucking wrong. I mean,
Crazy.
It's an absolute fact that if we if the world right now was the planet that Captain Kirk visited in an episode of Star Trek, yeah, within about 20 minutes, Kirk and Spock would have figured out the world order, which is the 1%, which for the purposes of this exercise actually includes the three of us as well.
Yeah.
You know, we all live in phenomenal comfort.
Right.
While most of the people on the face of the earth do not.
Yep.
We're the fucking bad guys. We're the people that Kirk would be going, but wait a minute, listen, you can't be living in this kind of luxury while people are starving around the world. Spock, kill them. You know what I mean? That's what would be going on. We're the bad guys.
It's weird.
I mean, the billionaires are the super bad guys, but we're all collectively the bad guys.
I work for a company.
We're sitting here in your, beautiful downtown, well-appointed, glorious, history-filled Arctic Club, right? With a table full of amazing equipment, having enjoyed some beautiful drinks, and it's been a great afternoon.
Yep.
There's
Now
people.
I feel guilty.
Yeah, if you burrowed through the centre of the earth and came out the other side of the earth, you'd have people who are struggling to survive every second of every day.
Yeah.
And so I'm not blaming the
definitely won
working
the lottery
stiffs like us.
Being born here.
Oh, 100%.
You know,
in the West.
being white and being born in America.
Being born in the West in the era when we did as well.
Yeah.
And we benefit from modern medicine and all that kind of stuff. But even with our own countries, there's poverty, right? Do you know what I mean? You know, it's incumbent upon us and super incumbent on the people with insane wealth to be helping people. Why the fuck are they not helping people?
Yeah.
Okay, like what's his Gates? He's a philanthropist, right? But you could argue he could be giving that money away at a faster rate than he actually is.
Have you watched that Netflix Gates' Brain?
Yeah. Oh no, I haven't.
Oh, you should check it out. That guy, it's really good. I mean, his whole thing is he's willing to give the money for whatever it is, but he doesn't want to give money that's just going to be squandered.
Yeah.
Right? So he's trying to, how do we create, like he's going to places like Liberia and other countries that have a water problem. And he's going there and he did a contest saying, make me clean water out of dirty water with no power. Do it. And so now he has all these people that are trying to make these toilets and make drinking water literally out of sewage.
Yeah.
And, and people are getting it and they're doing it and they're going to, and he goes, this is what we need. We need to be able to give clean water to the world. You know what I mean? No matter where you're at, you should have a solution. And that's where he's dumping all of his money into. It's actually, you watch that, you feel a lot better about the person that he is and what he's doing with it.
That is impressive. Yeah.
And you have to check it out. I mean, is there more that you could be doing? Like, I work for a company right now. And if you know me, you know who it is. And it doesn't matter. But they're one of the oldest companies in America, right? One could say, ahoy. Can you hear me, Mr. Watson?
Yeah.
And you would kind of figure out from that who I work for. They could literally stop producing and not accept any new clients today and still pay 100% of their client or their employees for 100 years, their full salaries. Why do you need that much money? Yeah. You know what I mean? It drives me insane. And then, I worked for Xerox back in the 90s and their stocks fell. They laid off like 3,000 people. In the same year, they gave their CEO, her name was Ann Mulcahy, $1 million a year raise.
Wow.
What do you think the employee's reaction was when you hear that? Well, there was a guy in Hawaii that was a tech that decided, I'm just going to load my gun and I'm going to go into my team meeting that I just got fired from the day before, and this lady gets $1 million raise, and I'm just going to go ahead and shoot everybody. And that's exactly what he did.
What?
Yeah. Wow. And it's just like there's a fiscal responsibility you have to the company. I understand that. But you have a fiscal responsibility to your employees, to the people around you, for health, mental health, and everything else that goes along, especially when you have the type of money that you can make differences.
People aren't commodities.
Yep.
Right?
No,
exactly.
but it's like all those fucking CEOs and the executives from like the banks and shit.
Yeah.
That when the banks filed bankruptcy and they had to get
bailed out,
they all got fucking $1 million bonuses.
Oh yeah,
the golden parachute.
It goes on to this day.
Well, Iceland.
It literally pisses me off. Like literally makes me angry.
Well, Iceland jailed bankers that were doing that during that time.
Quite right.
Good.
So.
Yep, and they redid all of their banking system, and now they're in the green.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, you lads, you're not wrong. You're not wrong at all. It's
So weird.
fascinating.
This is an interesting conversation. I don't think we've ever gotten this serious.
Yeah, I know, right? Yeah, how on earth we got to this point from Guy Ritchie's The Gentleman. God
Right.
only knows.
Right.
I know what it was. I know why I was talking about that. Right. So okay.
back.
The reason I was talking about that that billionaire ownership of our very, very biased, extremely right-wing media, extremely right-wing newspapers in the UK, is because
it's Hugh Grant.
Because Hugh Grant has come up, even though he's a posh guy, public school, wealthy guy, whatever, he's come up against their sort of mendacious corruption on a number of occasions, and he's had these kind of scumbag, kind of newspaper guys after him over the years. So he's a fierce critic
Coming
of
down
these
on that
people.
prostitution thing that happened.
Yeah.
He's
I don't think he's ever lived that down.
No, he's a really fierce critic of these people, and the fact that they spend time like literally bugging people and illegally monitoring
Wow.
their phones and stuff. Huge critic of it. And one of the people that is the most responsible for this stuff is Rupert Murdoch. Right?
I was just going to say,
Rupert Murdoch.
he owns Fox.
Good old Fox News, because a bunch of those British papers are owned by him. He owns one called The Sun, and he owns one called
The Sun. That's
the News of the World, which is now shut down because they were found to be illegally bugging people and illegally bugging their phones and stuff to get stories, which is one of the. I think he when the editors of that paper. When they went to trial, I've got a feeling that he gave evidence against them in court. But in The Gentleman, he's playing one of these scumbag journalists, and he's playing against type. So he's not playing a posh English guy.
Right.
He's playing a kind of working class, kind of scumbag private eye who works for the newspapers. So he's playing literally what he hates.
That's hilarious.
And that's the framing sequence for the entire movie is essentially the Hugh Grant character telling the Charlie Hunnam character how he's got the goods on the Matthew McConaughey character, who is Charlie Hunnam's boss, and him basically laying it all out and saying, you're going to need to pay me off, and this is why. And that's how it begins. And then the whole story is him basically saying to Charlie Hunnam, well, this happened, this happened, this happened.
I want to go see it.
And
Yeah.
there's twists aplenty along the way, obviously, but it's a really feel-good entertaining movie.
Yeah.
Yeah, my cousin just saw, and he's a producer of films, indie films, and he just texted me this morning actually saying that I need to go see that movie because he just saw it last night and said it was fantastic.
Oh yeah, it's great. I mean, and it's nothing other than sheer unalloyed entertainment. That's all it is.
Yeah.
But that's exactly what it is. It's supremely entertaining.
Are you going to go see Birds of Prey?
I will definitely go and see Birds of Prey.
I want to see that.
I mean, it's open since I've been on the road travelling, so I haven't had the chance to yet, but I will. Although I haven't seen the trailers I've seen of the film, I really don't understand why the title wasn't Harley Quinn and the Birds of Prey. And
is now.
there's been
It is now.
Yeah,
They changed the name to that.
Well,
Yeah.
I can see why they did it. I
Yeah.
think they totally fucked up not
did.
giving it that
They
name
did.
in the first
I think
place.
they messed up too, making it rated R.
Yeah.
I think they should have
I think
constrained
that's
themselves
right.
to that PG-13 because you have all those young girls that
Yeah.
want to go see it and now they can't.
Yeah, I know.
Yep.
All those young ladies who, like your daughter, no doubt,
Yep.
to whom Harley Quinn is a big sort of hero figure. I mean, you want them to be able to go and see that movie. Yeah.
Well,
for sure.
Suicide Squad was PG-13.
I mean, there's a couple of reasons why Deadpool's R-rated because
Yeah.
it's fundamentally in his DNA. But you don't need to make Harley Quinn
There's no need for it.
R-rated.
No need.
No
Nope.
need.
No need.
Nope.
Particularly if I would imagine, because PG-13s get pretty violent these days. It's most probably just predicated on the F-bombs. And
Yeah.
as you know, like you gentlemen, I'm a big fan of profanity. But if you don't need it to make a
Right.
great film.
No,
you know what I
don't.
mean?
You can make a good film.
And, none of those great films from Hollywood's golden era we were talking about before need profanity. Now, if you Quentin Tarantino, of course,
Yeah.
profanity is part of his DNA. But you don't need a Harley Quinn film with a bunch of F-bombs.
Right.
If it means just flipping the dialogue around a bit means it can open up to a much
Say
wider
freaking
audience.
or fracking or
Yeah.
flipping,
whatever.
And
whatever.
something like that when you put constraints on it to say, hey, this is your limits, you come up with funnier things.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
come up with things that are more creative in that way. I don't know.
Yeah, it's an interesting thing. I think the studio did make some mistakes, but everybody I've talked to that has seen it has loved it.
Same.
Oh, guys, have you seen? I've seen
the trailer. It looks good.
Have you watched the animated show?
Yeah, I loved it.
Fuck me, that is brilliant.
Yeah, I love it.
Now, you see, that is something that there's no reason for that not to have any profanity. The profanity makes that version of it.
Yeah.
Because there's not an issue about...
it's over the top.
There's not an issue about how the audience that can access it.
Yep.
The point's about... I don't have any problems with Birds of Prey having profanity in it.
Right.
It's just the fact that actually you're closing off that young girl audience, which seems to be a fundamental part of who wants to see it.
Yeah.
But the animated show, which anybody at the end of the day can access, like anybody can access Rick and Morty, that's awesome. Right. That's really good.
Have you watched that yet?
I've watched the first episode.
What'd you think?
Honestly,
what'd you think?
I loved it.
You did?
Fucking loved it.
Because I was like watching it and I was like thinking you might not like it because you're because he's a huge fan of the Jester Harley.
I do.
Yeah, got it. Yeah,
I wish they'd do the Jester Harley, but I mean, it's not.
They touch upon the Jester Harley.
Yeah.
And I think who's great in that. I mean, Kaylee Cuoco's brilliant as Harley.
Yeah.
But I think Lake Bell is great as Poison Ivy.
Oh, yeah.
She's a great actress. Have you ever seen that film that she wrote and directed? It's called In a World.
No.
Okay, so check this out. So
wait, is that the one? Does that have what's his name from the 40-Year-Old Virgin?
Steve Carell.
Yeah, Steve Carell.
I can't remember if he's in it. I don't think he's in it.
Okay,
but
I'm thinking of a different one.
So Lake Bell is an actress who's in a lot of indie movies. She starred in
Summer Nights. Have you seen that?
Yeah, right on. She starred in a season of Boston Legal, and she was in a film. That was very good with Simon Pegg, and I can't remember the name of it, but the kind of two people who happen to run into each other they're both on a different blind date or something, and they meet each other, and it's a kind of romantic film that's good. But this film she wrote and directed is called In a World, and it's about the world of voiceover artists.
Right.
So in the movie, she is a female voiceover artist whose father is one of the most famous voiceover artists of all time in the universe of the film, and that's really funny.
And they're rivals for the gig in the movie.
Correct. Yeah, that film is well worth seeing. But Lake Bell is supremely talented. And she started out, as I guess having the career that a lot of people have, in Hollywood. Good-looking person who's on television. Do you know what I mean?
Right.
But her career has been male or female, whatever. But her career has been so much more interesting than that, and she seems to have been able to take control of it in a way that
she's in a TV
has
show
eluded
now with
some
Dak
people.
Shepard.
Yes, that's right.
Yeah. It's kind of like they go out to the country and they inherit his old house, and then they're trying to make a farm out of it. And she plays like she was a psychiatrist in New York City, and completely a fish out of water type of situation.
No.
It's hilarious.
I like Dak Shepard.
Oh yeah.
Did you boys see that? I like Dak Shepard too. He's great. Did you see that show that was on last year? That Netflix show with Paul Rudd, the one where he clones himself.
Oh, I wanted to watch that. I haven't had a chance.
It's wow. What's it called again? It's living with. I think it's called Living with Yourself.
Yeah, Living with Yourself. Yeah,
or Living with Myself.
I watched the first episode, and it's great. I never got a chance to finish it because I had so much stuff to watch.
It's only 8 or 10 episodes long.
Yeah, it's
Living with Yourself.
It's fantastic. I would thoroughly recommend it because it's 8.5 hours. It's really easy to consume.
So much stuff on.
Yeah.
Like I'm trying to watch Fifth Avenue right now.
But we live in this content-rich world, right? That's the thing.
Yeah.
It is a golden age of television, but there's so much of it you can't see it all.
It's crazy.
Time and time again.
Have you seen this? No, I haven't.
Time and time again, I have people telling me you have to watch this.
Yeah.
Then I end up watching it 5 years later.
Yeah.
Because you end up with a rolling backlog.
Oh my God, there's so much.
So much.
It's coming at you thick and fast
and
all the
Netflix
time,
right now,
isn't it?
with all the stuff they're losing to, CBS apps and Warner
Disney
Brothers
Plus
and
and all
Disney
that kind of
Plus,
stuff.
and they're starting to lose some of their standards that they had. They have to come out with so much new content that it's like you get on there, you're like, holy crap, I can't even. I just got done watching Dracula on Netflix.
Right. Okay. So 2 great episodes.
Yeah.
And a terrible episode.
Yes.
I thought.
Yes. The
personally.
first 2, fantastic. The last one, what the fuck?
Why?
Yeah.
Why? What on earth is going on?
Last
it's
one
like
is-
being pulled out of the Matrix, and it's like,
Yeah.
what?
Yeah.
What's happening?
Well, it just. Did you watch all 3 of them?
Yep.
Okay. The last one, it's like, so my opinion of that show is like, they could have done that time jump and done it well if there was another episode.
Yeah, I don't know why they did the time jump.
Even then, it's like, what's the fucking point?
Yeah.
Because the first two
Makes no
episodes were so
sense.
fantastic.
I thought the nun, the Van Helsing nun, was such a unique character.
Oh, I
and
loved
it's
her.
like, why didn't you run more with that?
Yeah.
and with her. And I'd almost rather see her be the main and Dracula be the ancillary, overarching villain that she's constantly fighting against. I would have loved that.
That show, Kayla and I watched, my wife and I watched that all in one night, all 3 episodes.
Yeah.
Because we didn't
I
realize.
did the same thing.
We didn't realize they were an hour and a half long. We put it on and we watched the first one. Oh, 7 games. I'm like, all of a sudden, it's fucking 2 a.m. Whoa, we're already doing this. So we finished it out. And we both ended it going.
We're doing
We
it.
both ended it going, what the fuck was that last episode about? And we're like,
It was weird.
it was really weird.
was weird, yeah.
I didn't care for
Like
it.
he's just on the
I-
bottom of the ocean for 200 years.
I think that's a fairly modern phenomenon where you binge something and it really grabs you,
Yeah.
and you just can't leave it alone.
I just couldn't stop.
And then it ends in a way that is underwhelming. It's like, shit, man, I've just wasted an entire day of my life here.
Yeah.
You know, and you grab it, you're like, oh my God, I've got to watch it, I tell you a series that I think doesn't do that really grabs you, and actually both series thus far have ended well, and on kind of semi-cliffhangers where you're like, holy fuck, run the next one now, I want to see it, is Westworld.
Oh yeah,
That
Westworld
show's
is
great.
a superb show.
Yeah.
So
It's just
good.
good writing,
So
good cinematography.
Really grasps you.
Yeah.
Really high production value.
yeah. I loved the movie.
Oh, yeah.
Back
Yeah,
in the
of course,
day,
of
I was
course.
like, I remember my
Yeah.
buddy rented it. It was like 1986, and he
Yeah.
rented that, and we were like, oh my god.
Yeah, for sure. No, I mean, that first one back in the day was a real head fuck. But what they've done with it is just incredible.
Yeah.
Yeah, that first
I mean,
season is gripping.
That first season is beautifully constructed.
Beautifully done.
Yeah, it's really well done.
That's James Marsden, right? In it.
Well,
Yeah.
he plays
Marsden.
Teddy in it.
Yeah.
He plays the
he's so great.
gunslinger. Yeah, it's so
He's
good.
so good.
So good. And you know, I think the guy who plays what's the name of the actor? The guy who plays Jimmy. Yeah.
Right.
Is that wait a minute. Is that the name of the name of the
scientist?
actor? I'm thinking of the plays. I mean,
The one that doesn't know
the
he's
one
a-
who plays the Man in Black when he's younger.
Oh. That
Yeah, you
is.
with me.
Oh my god. Oh my god. He's like one of the greatest actors of all time. Ed Harris.
Yeah, there's
Ed
Ed
Harris.
Harris. There's Ed Harris
Harris.
plays him when he's older.
Yeah.
The lad who plays him when he's
Younger is. Oh
is-
god. What is his name?
He's in that arc of people who think, you know, he's in a bunch of.
He's
normally,
really good.
He's normally a comedy actor, and what's great about him in Westworld is he's playing a straight part, and he's just fantastic in it.
Oh, that. I didn't realize they were jumping through time like
It's
that.
so cleverly done, yeah.
Yeah, until you
Yeah.
get to the point you're like, oh, so
Yeah.
much makes sense now.
Yeah. It's brilliant the way they do it.
Oh man! And then
I think they're playing with time in that first series. Is it called Jimmy Simpson or something like that? Have I got that completely wrong?
I'm trying to
Jimmy
find it here.
Simpson, no, you're right.
Yeah,
you
he
go.
plays William.
So yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
Because he plays Billy, who's the young version of William, who's the Man in Black.
Aaron
Yeah.
Paul's in it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh my god,
Yeah.
it's such a great show. That it's
So
fantastic.
great. Yeah.
Oh man!
Yeah. It's
Yeah,
such a great
I haven't
show.
watched season 2 yet.
Oh, I would thoroughly recommend it.
Yeah.
I would say
I gotta get the
rush out
HBO
and
app
watch that.
and watch it.
Well, I'm trying to think. I watched something recently where I was really into it and I couldn't stop
Are
watching it.
you an animation fan?
Yes.
Okay, have you watched Netflix's Castlevania?
Oh, well, it's funny. I haven't, but my son loves it. He's watched every episode of it.
Oh man!
So I've been in the room while he's been watching it.
oh, it is crazy.
Because you know it's written by Warren Ellis,
Yeah,
right?
yeah. Who never finished Trees? Thanks, Warren.
Yeah.
Yeah, thanks a lot, big guy.
Thanks a lot
The
for
only thing
that.
I know about Warren Ellis is he'll be spectacularly unmoved
Oh.
by the fact
Right.
you've got a problem with that. We talk about this before? Did I tell you my Warren Ellis story?
No.
Can't remember. So when in the early years of my my journalism career, the first thing that I ever wrote for is a magazine about the comics business that was published in the UK.
Yeah.
And it was published by a well-known publishing company called John Brown Media. And the name of the monthly, and they published a really famous British humour comic called Viz, right?
Okay.
Which was like a adult version of the children's anthology comics that you get in the UK. And it was sold in pubs and bars and stuff in the evenings. Very funny. But they used to publish
it
this
similar to Mad?
monthly, kind of like that, except it's so English in its kind of material. It would be difficult for me to give you a snapshot of what it's like and make it funny, but make it resonate. But
Benny Hill?
So it's more. It's kind of on that kind of spectrum.
Yeah.
So in the UK for decades and decades, we had anthology humour titles for children, right? and they had names like the Beano and the Dandy. Yeah.
Okay.
And basically, it would be 7 or 8 comic strips about different characters getting into like scrapes. It's very, very English in tone. It's mainly slapstick humour, right? Okay. They did that, but they did an adult version of it, right?
Nice.
Okay. So you'd have these characters like, say, Paul Wicker, the Tall Vicar, who's like in these original comics, the characters often have names that are alliterative or rhyme in some way,
Right.
Like Roger the Dodger. So Roger the Dodger is this kid who's always coming up with schemes and plans. You know, I've got a new Dodge coming, I'm going to do this. You know, let's get a free bag of sweets. And these things would often resolve with the kids, somehow the kids making out with some kind of cash. It'd be now for a slap-up feast, you know, and buy sweeties and like all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
So these would be adult versions of this. So Paul Wicker, the Tall Vicar, who's like basically sort of a manic depressive vicar who gets massively drunk at every opportunity and just like kind of starts swearing and clearly doesn't believe in God.
Right,
You know,
right.
and it's all. And these are the kind of jokes that are in this. That was published by Paul Brown, but sorry, John Brown. But they used to publish a monthly magazine called Speakeasy. The designer of this magazine was my old flatmate Ryan Hughes. He's a really well-known, famous graphic designer in the UK. He designs most of the logos for DC and Marvel, right?
Oh, cool.
And he used to design it. I was one of the writers, and one of the other writers on Speakeasy was Warren Ellis at the beginning of his career, right? And I never met him, but I used to remember reading Speakeasy. And I used to think, man, this guy Warren Ellis, he's the worst fucking journalist I've ever read. And I used to read his stuff and it'd be like, this guy's writing is appalling. All this guy does is write about himself. So, you know, he'd like basically go and interview a bunch of famous like British writers and artists.
Right.
Yeah. Like guys who work for 2000 AD, like Pat Mills. But most of the article would be about him and how many cigarettes he smoked and stuff like that. And I thought, well, this guy's committing the ultimate sin. I don't want to read about this fucker. I want to read about Pat Mills.
Kind of sounds like Hunter S. Thompson.
And so I just really didn't enjoy his stuff at all. I thought he was rubbish.
Yeah.
Like, I thought he was fucking talentless, right?
Right.
And so when he started writing comics, I was like, I'm not reading that shit. That guy can't write. Yeah. Yeah. And then years later, I mentioned this to somebody. They're like, "What the fuck are you talking about? He can't write." And there's me, who's never written anything. You know, has only ever written articles his entire life. Going, this guy can't write. And he was like, "No, you're completely deluded." I said, "Fucking not." Honestly, he's one of the worst journalists I've ever read. He goes, you know, you should just try reading this. And he gave me a copy of The Authority, right?
Yeah.
Oh.
So I read it in one sitting, and I'm like, "Oh, okay." It's not that he can't write, it's that he's actually a genius. He's fucking brilliant. And then I realised that actually what I took to be like lazy, self-obsessed, wanking himself off journalism is the fact that really he's a creative writer.
Yeah.
And what he had coming out of him was the urge to talk about his stuff. You know,
Right.
in these articles where he's eulogising himself and his cigarette habit, when you're Johnny Bumfuck, like journalist, I don't care about how many cigarettes you make or what you do. I want to read about the subject of the article.
Yeah.
But I realised actually the dude just wanted to write. You know what I mean? and so Warren Ellis, if you're listening to this, which you never will,
right?
You know, I apologise, mate. Not that Warren Ellis would care for one jot about my opinion or what I think, or even knows who I am. Because he doesn't know who the fuck I am. He doesn't care what I think.
Right.
But I think he's a genius. I think he's amazing. So, maximum respect. I don't like everything he writes, but his hit rate, I mean, my absolute comics author, we've talked about this guy before, my favourite comics writer is a guy whose name I can't even get out now, is Ed Brubaker. I love Ed Brubaker. He's phenomenal.
Great.
But Warren Ellis is a different kind of talent, but has got an imagination that's completely unique.
Yeah.
He just goes to places that other people can't even get to.
Yep.
Oh, for
and
sure.
when he's on form, the shit that he comes up with is brilliant.
It's ridiculous.
It's fantastic. Just so good, so entertaining. So, I'm very sorry, Warren, that I thought you couldn't write. In fact, you can write much better than just about anybody I've ever met.
What are your...
He's so great.
What'd you think of Alan Moore?
I mean, I have to say, I was a huge fan of Alan Moore.
Yeah.
And the way I'm going to answer your question is by telling you that his daughter is a really good mate of mine.
Yeah.
Leah.
Oh, cool.
So basically, when I published like the Albion series with DC and Wildstorm in the sort of early 2000s, that was written by the story was by Alan. And the script was written by Leah and her husband John Reppion, who are two of the nicest people you ever meet.
That's cool.
And are also Scousers. They come from my hometown. They're great people. I mean, I think Alan's a phenomenal talent. I'm personally less interested in the stuff he's written in recent years.
Yeah.
But I think, he's got a mind like nobody else.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? And, that curmudgeonly old kind of wizard role that he plays, that's fundamentally a part of who he is, and that's like part of his charm.
Well, I was wondering what you thought of how DC treated him in the 80s, especially with the Watchers.
It totally sucks. And you know this. I've got really good friends who work in the current incarnation of DC.
Yeah,
but basically,
it's different now, right?
Yeah, it's massively
like
changed.
Even Marvel's doing more creator-owned kind of
and
stuff.
The DC's massively absorbed into the Warner Brothers machine now.
Yeah.
But here's the thing, fundamentally, and I think I've said, I'm mates with Dave Gibbons, is the artist of Watchmen, and super nice guy. Obviously, immense talent, but great guy. But the truth is, when DC, I remember when they announced the deal about signing them to do Watchmen, and they announced the fact that it was like going to be creator owned, and essentially, once it went out of print, they would actually the copyright would default to Alan Moore and Dave Gibbons, and of course it never went out of print, so it was so popular. And now they've and so Warner Brothers will have it forever.
Yeah,
and the fact that they've never turned around and gone, yeah, sorry lads, sorry, we didn't really do what we said.
Have you heard? Have you listened to our Jerry Conway interview?
Oh no,
he's got a completely different.
Oh yeah, totally opposite idea.
Opposite, viewpoint of it.
Oh, fascinating.
Oh yeah, it's.
Well, I have listened to it.
It was shocking.
Heard of it. Yeah.
When I think it's in this. There's two parts to that, and it might be in part two. And it was shocking when he was talking about it because, he basically. I don't want to put words in Jerry's, but you should go and listen to it. Yeah. You know what I mean? But basically, he was like, he should have known what he was signing. You know what I mean? That's the same deal they gave every single person, and you sign it. It's theirs. You know what I mean? And why would you sign a deal where you're hoping that it goes out of print? You want it to keep selling. That's what they want to do.
And that's the flip side to it.
Yeah.
And,
it was interesting.
Also, it's quite clear that Alan's view is not Dave's view. Dave's got a different view, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. And Dave still works with DC when he wants to, you know what I mean? He's still, and I know for a fact, the recent Watchmen show.
Yeah.
Dave absolutely loved that show, and the first I heard of it was Dave telling me it was being made, and saying how pleased he was and how great he thinks Damon Lindelof is. So Alan's got his own personal view on it. I do wish that they had just kept it to. I ignore all the publishing around Watchmen. I've never read it. I've never read the rest of it. Doomsday Clock and all that. I just don't read that stuff.
Before Watchmen stuff.
Before Watchmen.
Just Watchmen and that's it.
Len Wein's an amazing talent, but I don't want to read his version of those characters. I just don't.
Yeah.
And I think in the same way that I don't want people to write additional comic strips about the universe of The Catcher in the Rye or the universe of The Great Gatsby. I don't need those great novels to be diluted by anything else.
They're great as they are.
And I don't need anybody to dilute like Watchmen just for the purpose of commerce.
Yeah.
Now, I'm not on my high horse about it. I'm not going around smacking people in the face who've worked on those books or campaigning about it, but they're just not for me. I haven't read any of the book before Watchmen stuff, and I haven't read
get a lot of that stuff.
I just wouldn't even bother reading because it's like Watchmen is what it is. And I don't even as proficient in some levels as the movie is, and as good as I've heard the TV show is.
I like
really for me, Watchmen's mainly about the book. And I really love the book.
Yeah,
and
the book's amazing.
Yeah, the book's amazing. It's ridiculous.
It's an amazing piece of work.
Yeah,
but it's the work of two people. It's not the work of one person. The design and feel of it is massive.
Yeah. Well, that's all Gibbons, right?
Yeah, right.
Yeah. There's a lot of more things I do like. Yep.
Yeah.
And I I loved his Swamp Thing run. Because to me that's almost Shakespearean
phenomenal,
in a way. And I love The Watchmen. Wasn't a big fan of the Killing Joke.
Oh, yeah, okay. He's not a big fan of the Killing Joke, though. Do you know that?
Yeah.
Alan Moore himself
doesn't
doesn't
like it.
think it's
Oh,
any
that's
good.
interesting.
He
Yeah.
thinks it's terrible. Yeah. I think it's one of the worst things he's ever done.
I think his exact words are, there's no point.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's no point.
But have you ever heard Grant Morrison's take on like what happens in the Killing Joke? It's really quite interesting. So stealing this from a Fat Man on Batman, I heard Kev Smith do with Grant Morrison. But Grant Morrison's whole view is actually, if you look at that final page, right, there's a particular sound effect at one point. So when both Batman, it ends with both Batman and the Joker laughing in each other's faces.
Telling the flashlight joke.
Yeah, that's right. And like kind of the implication which a lot of people took for a long period of time is that the whole point is they're just forever going to be trapped in this loop with each other.
Yeah.
But there's basically Grant Morrison's view is the way the panels are laid out and the way the laughter stops because Batman kills the Joker.
Yeah.
And that's what is happening, and that's why it's the Killing Joke. He said the clue's in the title all along. Do you know what I mean?
I have
that makes
heard
me
that.
want to go back and read that
Yeah, and
book.
once you read it that way, it's like, I've since heard that I think Moore rejects that view, but then again, Moore doesn't like Grant Morrison at all. Yeah. But it's certainly very interesting. You know what I mean? It's an interesting way of looking at it. I'm just trying to think. There's one more thing I wanted to say. What was it? We talked about that. We talked about Killing Joke. Oh yeah. I think what is great about the Killing Joke, though, is Brian Bolland's artwork. It's fucking phenomenal.
Yeah,
that guy
so good.
is brilliant.
I drew that cover. I don't know how many times, and then took out pages and then tried drawing. And because I was in junior high when that came out, and I just drew them and drew them and drew them and drew them, and it's the only book that I really did that with.
Yeah.
That and The Dark Knight Returns.
Yeah.
And not so much The Dark Knight Returns because it's not a real heavily. The detail in The Dark Knight Returns is different.
Yeah, for sure.
And it's just hard to do that. But The Killing Joke, I drew a bunch of. I loved it because I was 13 years old and didn't realize what I was reading.
Yeah.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, right on. I mean, it's a beautifully drawn book, but Alan Moore considers it to be a very, very minor piece of work. Yeah. I think he actually considers it much more negatively than that. He's got no time for it, really.
That's funny.
Yeah, interesting, right?
It is interesting.
It's the wonderful world of comics, boys.
It is a wonderful world. We started off, we had to end with some comic books. We can't have Sumner here and not talk about comic books in some way.
I wanted to talk about my great hero, Will Eisner, and I wanted to talk about the Spirit.
That's right.
We never even got the chance to
We
do
didn't
it.
get a chance.
Next
Next
time.
time.
That's what we'll do.
Yeah. Hey, thank you so much for coming on. We really appreciate it.
Thanks for inviting me.
Oh, every
Thanks
time.
for having me at the wonderful Arctic Club once again. It's an amazing place. People of Earth, if you ever get to visit Seattle, come to the Arctic Club. Because I tell you what,
here,
Johnny and Kenric run a fantastic establishment here. It's amazing. It's amazing.
Yeah. And ask for the spoil country discount.
Yeah,
ask them for it. So they say.
And just this room alone that we're in, this kind of ancestral room. It's fantastic. Yeah, no, thanks for having me on, boys.
No,
it's always great hanging out with you. I always have such a good time.
It was awesome.
Yeah.
All right, man.
Thanks, brothers.
We'll see you later.
Take care.
That was fun.
Dude, I can't wait for the next summer. I mean, I always look forward to the summer episodes, to be honest.
We at least get Sumner once a year.
Yeah. Well, and this one was literally scheduled the day before. Like, he was like, hey, I'm going to be in Seattle. Like, we're going to be there.
Yep.
See you there.
Yep. I don't know. I miss that guy every time he's gone.
Well, it's just so fun,
Yeah. And then just the pictures from our Facebook posts are hilarious.
that smiley, the smile he does every picture reminds me of that Greg Smith face. Because it's just, you can't see it and not thinking of that person. You know what I mean?
Yeah, totally. Yeah, so, hey guys, I hope you enjoyed that as much as we enjoyed making it. There's a lot of Andrew Sumner interviews on our feed. Yeah. And you really should go to sepod.net and just search for Andrew Sumner and they'll all come up.
Or if you're on the website and you're on this episode, you just scroll down on the episode and look where it says speakers. There'll be his name, Andrew Sumner.
And you can click on it.
You click on that, it'll just show you every episode he's been on.
Yeah. And there's a lot.
I mean, if you click on my name, you'll see, or Kenric's name, you'll see all of our episodes, but that's just going to be all of them.
Yeah.
So,
Well, we hope you really enjoyed it.
Yeah.
We're putting a lot of work into this podcast. We have a lot of fun. I think it comes through in all the other episodes that we have, and you can go back. We have a lot in our back catalog. And
a lot coming out.
And a lot coming out. And, you know, and the amount of interviews we have and the people that we talk to. I mean, if you're an Uwe Boll fan, and there's a lot of you guys out there.
Yeah.
You know, we have an amazing interview with Uwe Boll. Well, we just got to sit and talk with him for like an hour and a half?
About an hour and a half, hour 20. Yeah, and it was, I mean, we say sit and talk, but really it was we sit and listen because it's a lot of him talking. But it's good. It was good.
Yeah. He was so much cooler than we anticipated him to be. Because we just didn't know. We knew the movies. I
knew Blood Rain. That's it. And then the one movie he recommended we watch before the interview, which I can't remember what it was called, but I watched
Rampage.
it. Yeah, I watched that one.
Yeah.
That's all I knew from him.
Yeah,
you know?
and he was so much fun.
Yeah.
So check him out. If you love a good horror comic book, one of the best in the last 20 years got made into a movie.
Yeah.
And Ben Templesmith was co-creator.
Yeah, with Steve Niles. With 30 Days a Night.
Yeah, 30 Days a Night. Thank you.
Yeah.
It was like on the tip of my tongue. And for some reason, I wanted to say Fargo at night. And I was like, that is not right. It's not Fargo at night. It's 30 Days of Night.
I like Fargo at night.
Yeah, which is literally one of the greatest vampire stories, I think, in a very long time.
Yeah, it's fantastic.
It's legit scary.
Yeah, it's a great movie. I wish they would have made the next one. You know?
And Ben Templesmith's art in that book is, I think that's what really catapulted him.
Well, his art in any book is amazing.
Yeah. He's been often imitated, rarely duplicated.
Right? You know, it's funny about Templesmith. We were at Inland City Comic Con last year, and we were talking to him there, right?
Yeah.
And I bought that Squitter hardback from him.
Yeah,
right?
That's a great book.
And he was drawing in it, and you kept talking to him. The longer you kept talking to him, the more you kept drawing. So you got a really cool drawing inside because you kept talking to him.
Yeah. Well, Ben is a cool guy, and every time he sees me, he goes, "Hey!" He never remembers my name, but he remembers my face.
Well, yeah.
And then we end up talking for like an hour, and I feel bad because he'll have a line of people, and him and I are just bullshit.
Right. He's like, whatever, it's fine.
Yeah. And I feel, I gotta go because I feel bad for all these people waiting on you.
Yeah.
But you should check out his interview because we talk about everything in that one. It's crazy.
I mean, a lot of American politics, a lot of
And then another new interview that we had was J.M. DeMatteis.
Yeah, that's a two-parter, and he's fantastic.
Yeah, and he's fantastic. And there's so many of those.
Yeah.
And if you like what you're hearing, and give us a share and give us a review on whatever site you get your podcasts from.
Sure.
It helps us so much.
We could probably do an entire just an episode-length episode. That doesn't make any sense. And a full-length episode, not an episode-length episode, but a full-length episode, just reading off the names of all of our guests.
I know. It would just be us reading the phone book, basically.
Right. We've talked to this person and this person and this. Yeah.
All right, guys.
But yeah.
I think that's a show.
I'm going to ramble some more. So yeah, it's a show.
All right. Don't forget to open the mind.
And read more.